The night my son-in-law laughed at me in public, he thought I was weak. He didn't know I raised his wife with nothing but sacrifice. He didn't know I built the silence that protected his success. And he didn't know that disrespecting me would cost him everything.
The first thing he took from me wasn't my dignity, it was my silence. And the moment he mistook my quiet for weakness, that was the day he signed his own downfall. I didn't raise my voice, I didn't make a scene, I just stood there, smiling politely, while every eye in that room watched him try to reduce me to nothing. And he thought he won. I raised my daughter alone. Her father left before she could even form words, and I learned early that life doesn't apologize to Black women, it tests us, over and over again. I worked double shifts, came home exhausted, cooked dinner with aching feet, and still sat beside her bed every night until she fell asleep. I taught her how to speak with confidence, how to walk with purpose, how to never let anyone tell her she was too much or not enough. So when she fell in love, I prayed he'd be the kind of man who honored that. Instead, she married a man who believed respect was optional. My son-in-law was charming on the surface, educated, well-dressed, the kind of man who knew how to impress a room, but not how to honor the people in it. From the beginning, he treated me like an accessory, someone to tolerate, someone whose presence he endured because I came attached to his wife. But that day he decided to embarrass me publicly, he crossed a line he didn't even know existed. It was his promotion celebration, a restaurant too fancy for honesty. White tablecloths, crystal glasses, people laughing louder than necessary. My daughter invited me personally. She wanted me there. He didn't. I could feel it the moment I walked in, the way his smile tightened, the way his eyes skimmed past me like I was invisible. I stayed anyway, because mothers don't leave when they're uncomfortable. We stay, we observe, we remember. Halfway through the evening, the conversation turned to success. You know the kind, where men puff their chests and measure their worth in salaries and titles. Someone asked him how he managed to come so far. He laughed, and then he said it. Well, he smirked, lifting his glass, I guess marrying into the right family helped, though, his eyes flicked toward me, not everyone starts at the same level. The table went quiet, too quiet, and then he added, louder, I mean, no offense, some people just don't understand ambition. Some people. I was some people. I felt my daughter freeze beside me. I felt the heat crawl up my neck, but I didn't react. I folded my napkin calmly, took a sip of water, and smiled. Because the most dangerous woman in the room is the one who doesn't respond immediately. He mistook my silence for defeat. That was his biggest mistake. What he didn't know, what he never bothered to ask, was who I really was. He saw my modest clothes, but not the years behind them. He saw my quiet nature, but not my influence. He saw a mother he thought had nothing to offer him. But I had something he desperately needed, and he didn't even know it yet. You see, the company he worked for, I helped build it. Not from a corner office, but from the ground up. Before it had investors, before it had prestige. I was the one who introduced its founder to the people who funded its first expansion. I was the one who kept relationships alive when egos nearly destroyed the business. I never asked for credit. I never needed applause. Real power doesn't announce itself. A week later, I got a call from his boss. He was polite, nervous. He wanted advice, guidance, perspective. I gave it, and then, without raising my voice, without mentioning the dinner, I simply spoke the truth about character, about respect, about how leadership fails when arrogance replaces humility. I didn't ask for punishment. I didn't demand consequences. I just let honesty do what it always does. 2 months later, my son-in-law lost his promotion. Not publicly, not dramatically, quietly. Opportunities stopped coming. Meetings he used to lead, he no longer attended. Doors closed that once flew open. And one evening, he sat across from me in my living room, silent, ashamed. For the first time, he looked at me, really looked, and he said, "I didn't know." I nodded, because that was the truth. He didn't know who I was. He didn't know my strength. He didn't know my reach. And most of all, he didn't know that disrespecting a mother in public reveals more about a man than success ever could. I didn't celebrate his fall. That's not who I am. But I did reclaim my silence. And this time, it was powerful. Because when a man disrespects a woman who built her life quietly, he doesn't just insult her past, he sabotages his future. And some mistakes you only make once.
Did you enjoy this story? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more emotional stories like this. Share your thoughts in the comments. What would you do if someone disrespected you in public? Stay tuned because the next story will leave you speechless.